In this reality, many different layers besides the physical, temporal, mental, and emotional exist. And only because of our choices of what to believe have these layers become hidden. In other words, we are the reason for them being concealed because we chose to stop focusing on them. A belief is formed that they are not real or not important. If we do, however, happen to perceive one of these invisible layers, we have powerful mechanisms at work that keep us from the realization that we did just perceive what we think we did. These mechanisms primarily operate through the fear of being abnormal or different, as well as the fear of being perceived by others as weird, imbalanced, or a liar. We are afraid of so many things. We let fear control us and our actions. Of course, fear is useful and necessary. If a lion is running towards us, not feeling fear probably means we'll become his dinner. But in our everyday life, fear is very simple. Fear is simply the result of thinking too much. It isn't even about whether we accurately perceive the risks. It's simply about focusing too much. When we think about anything, it magnifies the risk. Risk isn't objective. Risk is an attitude, it's only a perception. When we pay attention to anything, we single it out. We bring it to the front of our mind and blow it out of proportion. That's the nature of paying attention. Whenever we think too much, we imagine harm, even if there is no objective harm at all. But for too many people, this fear drives our ability to quickly and effectively dismiss what we do not understand. However, if we expand our belief system through opening our mind to include more than is immediately evident to our biological senses, we will start to perceptively interpret these hidden layers into our experience. Fear stops us from seeing the world openly as it is. When we do not fear something, we do not fear seeing it clearly. An important part of being in a body is experiencing a narrowly focused understanding that concentrates on our physical, mental, and emotional reality. Of course, this does not mean that we only experience that which is physical, emotional, and mental. But it does mean that no matter what we experience, we translate it into the physical, emotional, and mental. To access these buried layers of reality through what is typically called intuitive, psychic, or inner senses, we do not need any special knowledge or gift. We do not even need to know what to expect. All we need is an open mind. It doesn't work by us trying to be open. An open mind is created through the transformation and release of fear. Open is the natural state of the mind. It is fear which narrows our perception. In other words, an open mind is a mind not limited by fear. A mind which is open is curious and seeks what is unknown, instead of projecting what it fears onto the unknown. An open mind assigns space for new meaning, instead of trying to make all of experience fit into what is already known. Closed minds waste away through a need for constancy, while an open mind wants to expand and change. When our mind opens, it is not that we are going to experience a new layer of reality instantly. It is nothing like turning on the light in a dark room. What will happen is us experiencing new physical, emotional, and mental sensations that feel slightly different or unusual. This is not only in relationship to the actual feeling or sensation, but also in terms of where these sensations are coming from. This profound new level of perception will be very faint at first. It may start with old memories unexpectedly showing up in our mind, through which we find ourselves remembering a particular realization that offers us a meaningful perspective on a current situation. Another way of a new layer of reality unveiling itself may be us starting to experience a new depth of emotional excitement around a particular choice, or an unexpected emotional resistance to a particular person, which we simply cannot find a logical reason for. Or we might even start to see colors around people or feel the energy in an object, somewhat like heat or magnetism. It is typically the qualities of how it unexpectedly enters our perception and how it comes from somewhere slightly different that become the clearest sign we are opening our perception to something new. It is how we then react to that perceived newness which will determine if the experiences build or if they are blocked. Beyond allowing the level of unconsciousness necessary for embodiment, the purpose of the mind is to make sense of our experience and assign meaning to it. This creates our personal experience of meaning, or the lack of it, which we live within. This is a part of how we form our unique participation in the experience of self. Our mind automatically fills in any inconsistencies or gaps in our understanding of life. It does this in order to hide any anomalies or discrepancies we may identify. Any information the mind cannot assign an acceptable meaning to is quickly dismissed by a value judgment through which it deems the information to not matter. We can try to imitate a closed system, a separate embodied individual who stands alone as much as we like. However, beyond our body, we are an open system. In our heart, we are eternal consciousness that exists outside of the illusion of separation. We are simply a small part of eternal consciousness, and all things flow through us, regardless of whether we acknowledge them or not. To be open is to pick new choices, and that is to accept change. To be open to change is to be open to the unfolding of all that we are. Because even when we express all that we are, we will still change, for all that we are is an interpretation of change. To be open to change is to allow the unknown, to be curious and welcoming of experience. We can choose to transform our fears by embracing the unknown. Only a person with a mind that is open to change is open to a reality created in transparency and conscious awareness. We are an ever-evolving journey, not a destination. Our life describes a transformation of self over time. Only when we open our mind can we discover what we are beyond the physical. The clearer we become, the more things we start to see. The more things we start to see, the more we see how incredible and amazing the world truly is.